Welcome back to Cable Family Farm. I'm Caden.
And I'm Patrick.
And today we're going to be talking about how we plan to market and sell a little over 2,000 broilers that we're raising on pasture this year, as well as some turkeys.
Yeah, over the last couple weeks, we've made a couple of videos that we're going to link in the description on topics like how we got into pastured poultry, the startup cost associated with it, and the profit potential that can come along with a successful operation. But as with anything in farming, you've got to be able to sell that end product to do well. So that's what we're going to cover today. How can you sell all that pastured poultry that you've worked hard to produce? So the big question is, how are we selling our pastured poultry? How are we getting 2,000 chickens out of our freezer and into our customer's freezer? And there's multiple ways that farmers go about this. There's actually 5 that we've thought about and we've seen. And those come down to farmers markets. Some people solely rely on that option. There's also shipping. So if you have your chicken processed at a USDA facility, you can ship it across the country. And some people find success that way with different types of marketing. There's also the farm store option or home delivery, and sometimes those go hand in hand. And there's also wholesale. So selling to restaurants or certain organizations that are buying in bulk at a lower price to provide to someone else. We only use one of these strategies primarily, and we're going to get into that now.
Yeah, so out of those options that Patrick mentioned, farmers markets are the one we use primarily to sell our pastured poultry. One of the farmers markets we sell at is here in our hometown, just 10 minutes or so down the road from the farm. It's where I started out selling, vegetables and eggs with my dad. We've grown since then and, added pastured poultry. And so we sell some of that there. This past year, we got into a market here in Charlotte, the Matthews Market. We're doing a lot of our poultry sales through there. We found that in the more populated Charlotte area, that there are more people that are concerned with their health and the food that they eat, and they're more willing to pay for a premium product, like our pastured poultry that is better nutritionally and for the environment as well.
A lot of people have different experiences with farmers markets. There's reasons for that. We're very thankful to have been accepted into a producer-only market with a lot of traffic and exposure, with just tons of people who care about the quality of their food and tons of great farmers around us that we're able to spend time with every weekend. But just being in the farmers market is not the only reason that we're able to sell this chicken. There are many other factors that go into marketing it and finding those customers and making sure they know how our chicken is raised, also offering some other things. So we're going to get into some more intricate details on how we make sure that we can capitalize on the people that do come through the market, and how we retain those customers over time and build relationships with them and really foster that farm to table feeling with them.
From our experience marketing and selling our pastured poultry, we've seen firsthand what works and what doesn't. And so we've came up with 7 different strategies that we use that help us sell every bird we produce. We think these are pretty universal tips that can be helpful not just to our scenario, but to other people who are selling through different avenues like we talked about earlier, and also for different products. These guys sat on a chicken tractor for 2 hours.
It's really not bad.
It's not bad. So strategy number 1, this is something that we feel really contributes to our ability to sell the amount of birds that we do, and that's diversity. So having more products than just your poultry available to your customers. Currently we sell pasture-raised eggs as well as vegetables, along with our poultry as well. And we're adding turkeys this year, so that's diversifying even more. Having those other products allow you to sell your other products. Somebody may be on the fence about buying your chicken, but they'll buy some eggs. Most people are willing to buy some eggs, or maybe they want to buy a bunch of carrots or whatever it might be. But if they continue to come back, market after market, and they see other people buying, your chicken, they're going to be curious and want to try it, and eventually that leads to retaining some of those customers. We really try to focus on this idea of being a one-stop shop. So it's worth people's time to come to our stand. They can get multiple products at one time. They can come get some eggs or vegetables and our chicken and whatever it might be, and be able to make a meal out of it instead of just coming to get one thing in particular and then going somewhere else to get their eggs or vegetables or whatever it might be. Being diversified is something that you definitely don't have to do, but we feel like it's helped us tremendously, and we would recommend it to anybody that is thinking about selling pastured poultry to look into producing other products, because it will most likely help you sell your chicken or turkey.
You also wouldn't have to produce as many chickens to make a certain amount of money. If you're also producing vegetables or fruit or something like that, then that can take up a portion of your farm and make a certain portion of money. So therefore you have less chicken to sell. So it's easier to sell all your chicken. Strategy number 2, that's going to be presentation and quality. And that's going to be different in a lot of different scenarios, but for us, it's in the context of a farmer's market for the majority of the time. So at the farmer's market, we try to have our table set up nicely, and we try to continue improving on that, but we want it to look appealing. That's a huge part. Having your vegetables look nice, having your chicken packaged well. We started with the heat shrink bags, and we really didn't like the packaging. And so as soon as we could, we made the upgrade to a vacuum sealer, and we now think the packaging is beautiful, and we have our label on it, and it's just a great presentation. And if you see it, you're like, that looks like a quality product. And if we raise it with quality practices, we want to ensure that it looks like a quality product. We present it that way at the farmer's market.
At the farmer's market, we want our booth to be as inviting as possible to those customers who walk up. We want our board to be legible. That's a big thing. You go to some other farmers markets and people just have an expo marker and they've handwritten what they have available. But we really try to take a time and have a good sign that's clear and legible, as well as a banner that says our practices and where they can find us, our socials and whatnot. Patrick was talking about our packaging with the vacuum sealer, and having good labels on there. That's definitely an important part. So when we take those packages of chicken out of the cooler, we can't display them like we can our vegetables and eggs. But when we take them out of the cooler and to give them to customers who are purchasing our chicken, other customers are seeing that, and that's sold a lot of chicken as well. Just customers seeing our chicken that maybe wouldn't have bought it, but they've seen our packaging and it looks professional.
In other formats, you may capitalize on good presentation in other ways. For example, if you're shipping your chicken, it's going to be quality pictures. Does your website look really nice? Does your social media look really nice? Are you marketing that chicken in a way that represents the quality behind it?
The final tip on presentation is just having good quality control when you're processing your chickens. I know some people won't be processing your chickens, so you don't have as much say on that. But if you are, just making sure there's no more pin feathers in there. All your cuts are clean, and if you're cutting up the bird, you don't want there to be a bunch of hack marks in it or whatnot. And when we're putting things into packages, we want it to fit together nicely and lay flat and just look like we put some care and thought into what we're giving to our customers.
So on the quality side of this strategy, we're going to talk more about the practices, how you're raising your chicken. Are you putting effort into that? And obviously that's going to correlate directly with what you can make for your chicken and which people are interested in it and what your demographic is going to look like. So for us personally, we raise our chickens on pasture, and ultimately that leads to a higher quality bird that has had a more diverse diet and has lived their lives outdoors with access to fresh grass. They're in the sun, fresh air, etc. And that leads to a higher quality product with better flavors, better texture, and we've had many customers say it's just the best chicken they've ever had. And so that quality aspect really helps us as well, because one person thinks that, they say it to another person, word gets around, and all of a sudden people love your chicken and everybody's coming, you got new customers coming in, and that's just great all around for selling as much chicken as you can.
Our third strategy is consistency. So for us, that looks like being at the farmers market every weekend, every Saturday. Some markets are not year round. The one we go to is. So if it's raining or cold, whatever it may be, really hot, we're going to be there no matter what, unless they just happen to cancel the market. So we try to be consistent in that way. So people, when they come to the market, they know that we're going to be there. They know that they can come get our chicken, and they don't have to think twice about, oh, maybe they're not going to be there. Maybe I'll just buy it somewhere else.
They're already going out of their way to do their grocery shopping at a farmer's market instead of just going to the grocery store. So if we're always there with all of our products, they know they can count on us.
The other part of consistency is having, the same quality product every time so the customer knows what to expect. We don't want our customers to have a good experience with our chicken and then they come again to buy it next time and it looks different, or it's a different product, whatever it may be. So you want to have that consistency aspect to your products as well.
So our fourth strategy is regenerative practices, and this contributes to a lot with being able to sell our chicken. Using these practices is in itself a selling point for our chicken. When our customer asks, how was this raised? We're able to explain to them that this animal was raised as ethically as possible on the animal side of it, and also that while this animal is being raised, it was also helping the land that it was on and regenerating that land, as opposed to maybe a conventional farm where it's degrading land and it's creating unhealthy environments. And so we have a clear selling point there using regenerative practices on our small scale operation.
If you're selling pastured poultry, you're going to have people walk up to you and ask you those questions like, how do you raise your birds? What do you feed them? And you want to be able to give them the best answer you possibly can.
Our practices are what separate us from the conventionally raised, typically grocery store bought chicken. And so we really try to get that across to our customers. By raising our chickens this way, we're able to actually increase the health of the pasture and the land that we raise them on. We're putting manure into the ground and distributing it evenly to increase the fertility of the soil. We're encouraging new growth, and that means more bugs, more insects, a better ecosystem wherever we're out here raising birds. And because of that, all those things in the environment come together to actually produce a healthier bird. And then you compare that to the conventional systems where they're raised indoors. There's a lot of birds, the air quality is poor, they're given vaccines. We don't have to do any of that. We can raise them naturally and don't have to worry about any of those negative consequences down the line that a conventional system might cause.
Like I mentioned, if you're raising pastured poultry, people are going to ask you what you feed your chickens. And so we've made it, a point to really focus on feeding them the best quality feed and, choosing what makes sense for, our context. For us, that's a locally milled non-GMO feed. We feel like this feed is the best choice for us. We could have gone the organic route, and with that, that's kind of a give and take. So the organic feed is going to be more expensive, and you're going to have to charge more for your poultry. And it's also, we're not able to source it as locally, so it's coming from farms that are out of state, and it's not as sustainable if you look at it that way. We've gone with the non-GMO, like we said, and customers can understand that that is better than a GMO feed.
So ultimately, using the best practices that you can, making the best decisions possible and knowing why you made them, and being able to clearly explain that to your customers is going to help you sell more chicken. This is a chicken tractor.
Indeed. My shadow's on you a little bit.
Oh.
It's unfortunate.
We got 3 more strategies to cover. These last couple are simple, but they're super easy to look over and forget about. So stick with us. Here's strategy number 5.
Transparency. So this goes hand in hand with what we just talked about with our practices, but instead of just telling our customers how we raise our birds, we want to be able to show them. So for some people that might look like, having people out to your farm to see, how their food is produced. For us, we use social media as a tool to convey this message of our practices and how we're producing our customers' food.
Yeah, so this is as simple as it sounds. We use good quality pictures and videos to show our customers exactly what's happening on our farm, and we respond to comments, we answer questions in our private messages, and we just try to be very transparent with everything that's going on because we have no reason not to. And that makes the customer feel confident in what they're buying from us, and it's just another great selling point. 6 is our cuts. If we were sold only whole birds, we would not sell 2,000 chickens. It would be impossible. Not everybody wants a whole bird. Some people want something that's already cut up, it's easy to cook with, they just want some chicken breast, they just want some wings to grill out. It's as simple as that. By offering more variety of products, we're able to sell to a wider variety of customers.
We really try to listen to our customers and make adjustments on the amount of cuts we do based on the demand there. This past year, that looked like cutting up about 75% of our birds and then saving the smaller 25% of our chickens to package as whole birds. Our final strategy that we're going to use to sell more than 2,000 chickens this year is community. What we mean by this is being intentional about how we interact with our customers, whether they be regulars or they're just trying our chicken for the first time. We want to have the best impression we can on them.
We want to have meaningful conversations, be present, and person by person build a really positive relationship with our community, where we support them and supply them with good quality products, and they support us as well, so we can keep doing this and give them this healthy food option in our local community.
What that looks like for us, creating community at our farmers market, is trying to remember people's names. Even though it's not easy, people really appreciate that. Asking them, how was the thing they bought last time? What'd they do with it? How'd they cook it? Just little things like that. Just create a really good presence around your farm and your products, and it creates community. It makes you want to do what you do. Another thing that ties into the idea of community is the fact that you don't need very many customers, regular customers, to be profitable on a small farm. If you have customers that are showing up every week and purchasing, several things from you,
it's a lot easier to sell more things to those people consistently than to sell a little bit to a whole bunch of people. And if you build those relationships and focus on that aspect of small scale farming, it's going to be a whole lot easier to get that product out of your freezer. We hope you found some value in this video and the other videos that tie directly into this that we've made that are still down there in the description if you want to check those out. But if you think we missed something today, if you think there's 8 strategies or 9 strategies, let us know. Put one down in the comments, and we appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next week.